Remember 1985? Clearly, Live Aid, Back to the Future, The Cosby Show, Madonna, New Coke, all of that was huge back then. Come on, man, 1985 was the best year ever! No, I was in 6th grade, a little too young for it to be the best year ever. But hey, most of it, in fact, was pretty much a blur. Dude, you gotta remember just how we totally dominated you guys in the World Series. You're still on that? Really? After all these years, on a phone call, and you're still celebrating? Damn straight, we proved which team is the dominant one in Missouri. Actually, it's Missouri, not Missouri. Wait a minute, did you just say domination? That's right, we owned you guys. Whatever you say. You know, I like to think about all the great things that's happened since 1985. Huh? Well, you know, when we won a world championship, 2 National League titles, 5 division titles, and a wild card. You can't even top that, can you? Well, at least we got Eric Hosmer. Cards take 2 out of 3 from the Kansas City Royals this weekend in the first installment of interleague play. What intrigues me about this interleague matchup is how some people are trying to make this out to be a huge arch rivalry. Namely, the 1,100 or so Royals fans who can't get beyond the events that happened about 26 years ago. And if you're one of the few Royals fans in existence, there really hasn't been much to be excited about. Since their World Series win 26 years ago, they haven't even come anywhere close to making the postseason. In that time span, every major league team in all of baseball has at least seen postseason action once. Well, with the exception of the Washington Nationals. To make things even worse, since the players' strike in 1994, they finished over 500 just once, back in 2003. It doesn't help that you have an owner in David Glass, a former Walmart exec, who is very content in making his fortune collecting that revenue sharing check from the other owners while running his baseball team straight into the ground. Which is the big reason why I'm not buying into this latest rebuilding project they've got going on over there. Apparently, there's this kid named Eric Hosmer who's made his much awaited major league debut a couple of weeks ago. He's supposed to be the tip of the iceberg of a bunch of kids who are can't-miss prospects in their minor league system, overhauled by their current general manager, Dayton Moore. You may know him from his days as the director of player development with the Atlanta Braves way back in their heyday. Sadly, knowing how Glass won't spend any money to keep anyone who's good or actually gets expensive, Hosmer will join a long list of players who will get traded before he becomes a free agent. Then signs that record deal with the Yankees where he'll be winning any World Series rings he gets. Hey, you gotta figure, Mark Teixeira, he'll be close to retirement age by then. Anyhow, as for the action this weekend, Friday night the Cards get shut out 3-0. This one, you can't blame Chris Carpenter on. For the first 6 innings, he scattered only 5 hits, all of which were singles. Unfortunately, he couldn't get any run support either. They threatened with the bases loaded in the 2nd, and once again with runners on 1st and 2nd in the 6th. Each time, they only had 1 out. Which I'm sure if you watch any Cardinal game at all, you'll know the next thing that happens is they ground into a double play and the inning's over. Now, why would this game be any different? Oh yeah, the Royals had Jeff Francis on the mound. Great, a mediocre left-hander. That explains everything. Nonetheless, in the 7th, a couple of misplays in the outfield led to a huge inning for the guys in blue. Colby Rasmus tries to dive for a fly ball by Billy Butler, misses it completely, and Butler is on with a base hit. It wasn't an error, but supposedly you actually have to touch the ball for it to count as one these days. He's doubled over to 3rd and scores on a sac fly by Brian Pena. Alcides Escobar singles in Wilson Betterment. Actually, John Jay misplays this ball, but once again, no contact, no error. And that's the end of Carp's night. I guess LaRusso really wasn't trying to win this one after all. Why would you put Trevor Miller in the game to pitch otherwise? And in typical fashion, he walks Alex Gordon to load the bases. He does get Melky Cabrera to fly out, but that scores Chris Getz, and now it's 3-0 Royals. Think about this. If Rasmus and Jay would have caught those fly balls, the chances of Bedement's double turning into anything would be pretty much nil. Aaron Crow comes in to relieve Francis in the 8th, and Joaquin Soria shuts the door on this game, handing the Cards their second shutout of the season. Some other stuff of note. Lance Berkman was out because of his wrist, but Ryan Franklin played. And he actually got the Royals out in order. On Saturday afternoon, the score was once again 3-0, but this time, it was the Cardinals who came out on top. There wasn't much in runs or excitement in this one early on. Jake Westbrook was in yet again another pitcher's duel, this time with rookie pitcher Nate Adcock, who happened to be making his major league debut in this game. Westbrook went 8 innings, scattering 4 hits and striking out 3 for the shutout win. Adcock, he was pulled after the 5th, giving up 3 hits and striking out 4. The difference maker came in the 8th as Matt Holliday goes yard. Actually, he goes into the drink. Off the Royals' 4th pitcher of the day, Blake Wood. 33 double D, Daniel Descalso scores in the 9th on a sac fly by Ryan Theriot for good measure. Fernando Salas gets his 6th save of the year, and we're even. Which brings us to the rubber game, in which the Cardinals barely hold on to win 9-8 in 10 innings. A game we should have lost due to Le Genius. Cards jump out huge in the 2nd, gaining a 3-0 lead on back-to-back doubles by Yadier Molina and Descalso, followed by an Alan Craig home run to left, his 3rd of the season. The Royals would get 1 back on an RBI double by Alex Gordon in the bottom of the inning, but leave it to Yadi to triple scoring 2, and then scoring himself on an Eric Hosmer throwing error. He went 4 for 5 in this game. We're now up 6-1 in the 4th. And you'd think this game was blown wide open, right? Well, Matt Holliday grounds into a fielder's choice for another run, and the Cardinals are up 7-1. First bonehead move by LaRussa, pulling Craig out of the game in favor of Tyler Green for his defensive ability, in which Green was actually responsible for the Royals' 2nd run, as he once again totally misses a routine pop-up, this time at the hands of Micah Villas. I think I mentioned this on one of my previous episodes, but I'll show it again if you missed it. Some higher-ups can't seem to realize that Tyler Green has really no use at the big league level at all. And to Mike Shannon, he didn't lose the ball because of the sunglasses he wore either. The other boneheaded move by Le Genius was pulling Jaime Garcia, your best starting pitcher, with a 4-run lead in the 6th after he only threw 83 pitches, in favor of Miguel Batista, who in turn gives up a 2-run homer to Bediment shortly afterwards. Brian Talent, fresh off the disabled list, gets out of the 6th, but he gives up a solo shot to Alex Gordon, and that 4-run lead we had is now 1. Eduardo comes in. He hits Francoeur, walks Butler, and Bediment singles in Francoeur to tie it up. But the Cards do nail Butler to get out of this mess without any further damage. The Cards try to rally a couple of times, but as always, they ground into an inning-ending, bases-loaded double play in the 8th. In fact, they had a couple of those, and left 15 runners on base. And by some miracle, we make it to extra innings. As LaRussa was trying to hand the Royals the game, apparently they were trying to do likewise, and succeeded. Royals reliever Lewis Coleman comes in. He walks Rasmus. Then Albert gets on because of a throwing error. And Gerald Layard, he's hit by a pitch, and the bases are now loaded. After getting Berkman, who returned today, to pop out on the infield, now pitcher Tim Collins comes in, offers back-to-back walks, giving the Cards the 2-run lead once again. Salas is in for the save in the 10th, gives up a couple doubles to make it a 1-run game. But he settles down, gets the save, which, by the way, is his 6th on the year. As for some side notes, Lance Berkman was back in the lineup, Holiday was pulled because of a leg injury. He was the DH in case anybody was wondering. And Gerald Layard is out on the disabled list for 6 to 8 weeks with a broken finger caused by the hit by pitch in the 10th inning. On the Royals side, both catcher Matt Trainer and manager Ned Yost were tossed after arguing balls and strikes with home plate umpire Angel Campos. I'll give you this, it was a huge weekend as the Cardinals jumped to a record of 28-20. They're up 2.5 games on Cincinnati. They got swept by the Cleveland Indians, and I'm glad we don't have to deal with that team this year. As for the Cardinals, their road trip continues to San Diego for 3. Yeah, I know, but it's the last West Coast trip of the year. Pitchers will get to hit again. Hopefully, it won't be in the 8th spot. But most importantly, the Padres have been struggling big time, and they're ripe for the taking. Also, any chance to get distance on the rest of the National League Central is a bonus. And as interleague play takes a break, I have my question for the day. Has the interleague concept run its course? Let me know what you guys think. Submit your answers, comments, questions, responses, or anything else in the comment box below. Subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Twitter. And yes, like a lot of you, I used to watch wrestling religiously when I was a kid. Sunday mornings, 10 a.m., world-class championship wrestling on Channel 30. 11, Wrestling at the Chase on Channel 11. Why am I bringing this up, you might ask? This past Friday, one of the greatest WWF superstars died in a car crash after suffering a fatal heart attack. Macho Man Randy Savage passed away on Friday, and Macho Madness will be missed. Ooh, yeah! But did you know he had a connection to the St. Louis Cardinals? That's right. Randy Savage was originally known as Randy Poffo, a career minor league outfielder who spent time in the White Sox, Reds, and Cardinals organizations. So, in his memory, I'll do the honors of snapping into a Slim Jim. Till next time, go Cards!